What happened before the Big Bang? It sounds like the most natural question in cosmology. Before galaxies, before stars, before atoms, before light could travel freely through space, what was there? Was there empty darkness? Was there another universe? Was there some earlier state that gave birth to our own? But quantum origin theories begin by challenging the question itself, because the word before already assumes time. It assumes there was a cosmic clock running in the background, waiting for the universe to appear. It assumes time was like an empty road, stretching backward beyond the Big Bang, with the universe beginning somewhere along that road. But what if that picture is wrong? What if time was not the container the universe appeared inside? What if time is part of the universe? What if the beginning of the universe was also the beginning of ordinary time? Then the question changes completely. Quantum origin theories do not simply ask what happened before the Big Bang. They ask whether before still means anything at the deepest edge of cosmology. Maybe the universe did not begin in time. Maybe time itself is part of what began. And if that is true, the beginning of the universe may not be like an explosion inside empty space. It may be the point where space, time, matter, energy, and the meaning of earlier begin to emerge from a deeper quantum state. Not a proven answer, not a final theory of creation, but one of the most important possibilities in modern cosmology, that the universe may have a beginning without a before. The hot Big Bang model gives us the first great chapter of that story. It describes a universe in which large-scale distances were once much smaller, and the observable universe was hotter, denser, and smoother than it is today. As space expanded, the universe cooled, elementary particles formed, then atomic nuclei formed. In the first few minutes, light nuclei such as hydrogen and helium were produced. Much later, after about 380,000 years, electrons and nuclei combined into neutral atoms. Light could finally travel freely, and the ancient glow we now call the cosmic microwave background was released. Over billions of years, gravity gathered matter into galaxies, clusters, stars, planets, and the large cosmic web we observe today. That story is not guesswork. It is supported by the expansion of the universe, the abundance of light elements, the cosmic microwave background, and the large-scale structure of space. But the hot Big Bang model is not the same as a complete theory of ultimate origin. It does not, by itself, explain why space-time exists. It does not explain why there are laws of physics. It does not tell us whether time had an absolute beginning. And it does not tell us what really happens when classical general relativity is pushed all the way back toward the earliest possible state. This is where the familiar image becomes dangerous. The universe did not simply explode from a tiny point into empty darkness. That picture assumes there was already an outside space for the explosion to happen in. But cosmology is not describing matter flying through pre-existing emptiness. It is describing the expansion of space itself. So the deeper question is not what object exploded. The deeper question is what happens when space, time, gravity, matter, and the laws that describe them can no longer be safely separated? What if the hot Big Bang was not the final beginning, but the first classical chapter we can describe? This question appears because classical physics reaches a limit. General relativity describes gravity not as a force pulling through space, but as the shape and curvature of space-time itself. Matter and energy tell space-time how to curve. Curved space-time tells matter and light how to move. This theory works extraordinarily well across planets, stars, black holes, galaxies, and the expanding universe. But when we run the expanding universe backward, the picture becomes more extreme. The universe becomes hotter, denser, more compressed, and more curved. And if the classical equations are pushed backward without any deeper correction, they lead toward what is called a singularity. A singularity is often described as a point of infinite density. But that phrase can mislead. It can make the beginning sound like a tiny object sitting inside empty space, waiting to explode. That is not the right picture. A singularity is not necessarily a real physical thing that once existed. It may be a warning sign. It may be the place where classical general relativity has been pushed beyond the conditions where it can safely describe reality. At that scale, the universe would not simply be very small. It would be a regime where gravity, matter, energy, and space-time itself become inseparable. The smooth geometry of classical spacetime may no longer be enough. Near the deepest early universe, quantum effects should matter. But gravity should matter too. Quantum theory describes the microscopic world. General relativity describes space-time and gravity. The beginning of the universe appears to demand both at once, and we do not yet have a complete, experimentally confirmed theory that unites them. So quantum origin theories are not adding mystery for its own sake. They begin with a real scientific problem. The classical Big Bang singularity may not be the origin. It may be the edge of the map. This is where quantum cosmology begins to sound strange. In ordinary quantum mechanics, a wave function describes the possible states of a system. That system might be an electron, an atom, or a field. The wave function does not give one simple classical story in advance. It gives a structured set of possibilities, with different probabilities or quantum weights. But quantum cosmology applies this idea to the largest possible system. Not a particle inside the universe, not a field inside space, the universe itself. This is the idea sometimes called the wave function of the universe, and it is easy to misunderstand. The wave function of the universe is not a wave moving through space, like a ripple across water. There is no outside ocean for it to travel through. Space itself is part of what the wave function is trying to describe. Instead of asking where one particle is, quantum cosmology asks what possible universe geometries are allowed, what possible shapes of space, what possible matter configurations, what possible histories, what possible ways a classical universe could emerge from a deeper quantum description. This is why the idea is so powerful and so difficult. In normal physics, we imagine a system changing with time. A planet moves, a particle decays, a field shifts, a clock ticks in the background. But if the system is the entire universe, there is no external clock outside it. There is no larger laboratory in which the universe sits. There is no external clock, external reference frame, or outside laboratory relative to which the entire universe can be treated like an ordinary quantum system. So quantum origin theories must ask a harder question. How do you describe the universe quantum mechanically when time itself may be part of the thing being described? This leads to one of the deepest problems in modern physics, the problem of time. In ordinary quantum mechanics, time usually sits in the background. A system has a state. That state changes, and time is the parameter used to describe the change. An atom decays over time. A particle moves through time. A quantum field evolves through time. But general relativity treats time differently. Time is not an invisible background clock, ticking the same way everywhere. Time is part of space-time. It bends with gravity. It stretches near massive objects. It depends on motion, position, and the geometry of the universe itself. So when physicists try to combine quantum mechanics with gravity, a deep tension appears. Quantum theory normally assumes time. General relativity makes time part of the physical system. And quantum cosmology asks about the entire universe, where there is no outside clock at all. If the universe is everything physical, then what time does the universe evolve in? There is no larger cosmic room, no external watch, no master clock beyond the edge of existence. This is why some approaches suggest that time may not be fundamental. Time may be something that appears from relationships inside the universe. One field may act like a clock for another. Expansion may give a sense of order. Entropy may give time an arrow. In some approaches, quantum possibilities begin to resemble a classical history only when the universe grows and space-time behaves approximately like the world described by general relativity. In that view, time is not poured into the universe from outside. Time is something that emerges when a deeper quantum reality begins to behave like a classical world. One of the most famous quantum origin ideas is the Hartle-Hawking no-boundary proposal. The basic idea is not that the universe came from ordinary empty space, and it is not that there was no universe at all. The proposal suggests something more subtle. The early universe may be described by a finite, smooth quantum geometry, rather than by a sharp first moment. Instead of beginning at a hard boundary where physics simply breaks, the earliest region of the universe may be rounded off by quantum geometry. A common analogy is the North Pole. If you travel north on Earth's surface, you eventually reach the North Pole. But the North Pole is not a wall. It is not an edge where the Earth suddenly stops. It is the place where the direction called north stops being defined. In a similar way, the no-boundary proposal suggests that asking what happened before the beginning may be like asking what is north of the North Pole. The word seems meaningful at first, but once you reach the limit of the coordinate system, it stops applying. The analogy is imperfect. The Earth's surface exists inside a larger space. The universe may not exist inside a larger external time, but the point is useful. The beginning of time may be less like hitting a wall and more like reaching a place where the direction called earlier stops being defined. This proposal often uses a mathematical idea called imaginary time. That phrase can mislead. Imaginary time does not mean fantasy time. It does not mean mystical time. It does not mean a hidden spiritual dimension. It is a mathematical tool that treats time in a way more similar to a spatial direction, helping describe a smooth quantum geometry near the origin. Another famous idea is the tunneling proposal, associated with Alexander Vilenkin. In this view, the universe emerges through a quantum tunneling process from a state with no classical space and time. But the word nothing must be handled carefully. This is not ordinary empty space. It is not a black void waiting for a universe. And it is not necessarily absolute philosophical nothingness. It is a technical quantum cosmological state with no classical space-time, described inside a mathematical framework. So the tunneling proposal does not say that nothing exploded. It says that classical space-time may emerge through a quantum process from a state where ordinary space and ordinary time do not yet exist. These ideas are powerful because they change the shape of the beginning question. They tell us that the Big Bang may not be a simple first moment sitting inside an older time. They show why the classical singularity should not be treated as a tiny physical object. They suggest that space-time itself may have a quantum origin, and they make it possible to imagine a universe that begins without a normal before. But none of this means the mystery is solved. The no-boundary proposal is not confirmed. The tunneling proposal is not confirmed. Loop quantum cosmology is not confirmed as the final description of the beginning. No specific quantum origin model has been proven by observation. The evidence we have reaches incredibly far back, but not all the way to the deepest origin. The cosmic microwave background is ancient, but it is not light from the first instant. It was released when the universe became transparent, long after the earliest quantum gravity era would have passed. Primordial gravitational waves, spatial curvature, unusual patterns in the microwave glow, or relic signs of a pre-inflationary phase could one day give clues. But even if future data revealed unusual primordial gravitational waves, spatial curvature, or cosmic microwave background anomalies, those clues would still require interpretation. They would not automatically identify one quantum origin theory as correct. For now, the beginning remains indirect, and there is an even deeper problem. Quantum origin theories may describe how classical spacetime could emerge from a non-classical state, but they still use laws. They still use mathematics. They still use a framework. So even if time emerges, even if space emerges, even if the classical universe begins from a quantum state, the next question remains. Why is there a quantum law at all? Why is there a wave function? Why is there a possibility of existence? Physics can sometimes model the emergence of space-time from something deeper, but that is not the same as explaining why there is anything lawful, possible, or real in the first place. So can a universe begin without time? Quantum origin theories suggest that the answer may be yes, but only if we change what we mean by beginning. A beginning does not always have to be an event inside an older timeline. It may be a boundary where ordinary time stops being defined. It may be a transition from quantum possibility into classical spacetime. It may be a smooth, no-boundary geometry. It may be a tunneling process from a state with no classical space and time. Or, in other models, it may be a bounce from a previous cosmic phase. These ideas do not all agree. Some preserve a meaningful before. Some remove the ordinary meaning of before. Some replace the singularity with geometry. Some replace it with tunneling. Some replace it with a quantum bounce. But they all force the same lesson. The Big Bang may not be the final answer to the origin of the universe. It may be the place where our familiar description begins. Before that, the words we use every day, before, after, cause, beginning, may no longer work in the same way. If time itself emerged, then the deepest question is not only what happened first, it is why there is a quantum law, a wave function, a possibility of existence at all. Quantum origin theories do not end the mystery of the beginning. They move it to a deeper place, beneath the ordinary meaning of time itself.